in, ladies and gentlemen, to NBR, or as we like to call it around here, Nothing But Rants, the show where I find topics that I'm oddly passionate about and I pontificate upon them. These are not hot takes, but rather takes that I'm hot about. What's up? Really like that. You really like that?
Let's shut up and grind some tape.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome into the Film Guy Network on a fine Wednesday evening. And you know what? 'Tis the holiday season. And whether it be eating too much Halloween candy, whether it be eating too much stuffing on Thanksgiving because you know your ass ain't eating turkey, or whether it's been spending too much money on a gift for your significant other during Christmas, everyone can relate to a little bit of gluttony, right? Everyone can relate to a little bit of too much of something. You know what I mean? But when it comes to this Michigan scandal, when it comes to this Michigan story, ladies and gentlemen, I just don't know if we can ever get too much of it. All right? At first, it was just, hey, they were stealing some signs. Sign stealing's normal. Everybody does it. That Brent Venable guy has been doing it forever. Sign stealing. Casuals. Bunch of casuals don't know nothing about college football. Y'all never played. Y'all don't know nothing. No. They were advanced scouting. Oh, okay. Well, it was 25 schools. Don't worry about it. It's 2021. It's nothing. Everybody does it. Hell, I used to do it. No. It was 40 schools. And they were going to Ohio State 8 times this year. They were just watching, though. And not that big of a deal. They were just watching. They were just watching the game. They're videoing signals. What? They're doing what? And now, today was the greatest of all days. Last night, we see mans on the CMU sideline wearing some spy glasses, Sharpie in his Nike shoes, wearing coaches' outfits with a visitor's pass. Okay? We see our boy Stallions over there being a little co-op little spy mission. All right, and then today, we get our shark lover, Jim McElwain, talking about this delicious storyline. And our boy Jim, not necessarily great at lying. And it's not necessarily his fault. I do think it was him on that shark, by the way. It was not necessarily his fault. How in the hell did he expect that he was going to have to come out here and lie for Jim Harbaugh? Well, you probably should have when you let this random dude walk around your sideline, allegedly. Now, granted, CMU doing the classic CMU thing, deny. Every time you get a chance, it wasn't me. Shouts out to Shaggy. Play this sound clip right quick. And this is Jim McElwain starting his press conference today with a lie.
Now, before we go any farther, we've obviously are aware of a picture floating around with the sign stealer guy. Our people are doing everything they can to get to the bottom of it. We're totally unaware of it. I certainly don't condone it in any way, shape, or form. And, I do know that his name was on none of the passes that were let out. Now we just keep tracing it back and try to figure it out. But it's in good hands with our people. And again, there's no place in football for that.
Couple of things that I love about this sound clip. Shouts out to Jim McElwain. Shouts out to the people watching this today that are like, shit, Jim McElwain's the head coach of Central Michigan? Yes. And in fact, he's done a relatively good job. He's been there since 2019, has been hanging out up there with the Eagles of Central Michigan. Are they the Eagles?
No, the Chippewas.
Chippewas. Shouts out. Former school of P.J. Fleck, I believe, right? Wasn't that where he was before he was at Minnesota? Anyways, doesn't matter. I love a lot of this in this soundbite. First of all, we get the sign stealer guy, which we'll talk about here in a second. But if you listen really, really closely, which I'll get the comment about it, if you had your AirPods in just now, of course the mic was buzzing. Of course. It's a CMU press conference. So, of course, there's something auditorially going wrong. Because when you have small operations, there's audio issues. It happens every once in a while. But the sign stealer guy was obviously Jim McElwain. You could hear him in there kind of pausing, going, the sign stealer guy. Because what he didn't want to do is didn't want to let the world know that he knew who Connor Stallions was, which, by the way, the whole world knows that you know who Connor Stallions is. By the way, you worked with him. By the way, your son worked with him. By the way, 2 assistants on your staff worked with him. You know who Connor Stallions is. We all know you know who Connor Stallions is. But you can't let us know who Connor Stallions is that you know we know who Connor Stallions is, because you got to call him this.
The sign stealer guy.
The sign stealer guy. It reminded me today when I heard the quote, it reminded me of that scene in Happy Gilmore when he's at the driving range and he's like, step right on up, folks, to see the golf ball whacker guy. That's what it was. We had Jim McElwain out here talking about the golf ball whacker guy on what was essentially national television, because everybody's run with this clip now.
Yeah, it was. I know I have to talk about this, and then it was, I probably should have prepared myself to talk about
How
this.
do you go on stage and just go like, oh, yeah, we know about this guy, and it's bad. not in football, bad.
Yeah, we're definitely trying to get to the bottom of it. No, you're not. Mm-hmm. By the way, you guys have been to Division I sidelines. Y'all know there's a security guard standing at each corner, and the first thing he does is check your pass.
Oh, yeah.
So you also know that you can't get on that field without one, and someone had to have given him that pass. So to hear, and by the way, all of the photos I think that we've been seeing with him and his passes, I haven't noticed anybody on the internet find the coach who doesn't have a pass, because that's what I want to know. I want to know the coach that either gave it to him or, that would let us know that they obviously made one for him to stand on the sideline. But yeah, they basically confirmed it was Connor Stallions. That was my other favorite part about this. Mm-hmm. Him saying he didn't know we didn't know the sign stealer guy was here, or we were unaware, and we're unaware of anything like this. Just let us know that he did confirm indeed that was the sign stealer guy on the sideline, which nobody but other than Pate had confirmed, right? We hadn't seen any official reports that was indeed Connor Stallions. We had heard that there was an investigation opening now at Central Michigan, and the head coach comes out the next day and basically confirms, yeah, that was him. Well, how'd you know that was him? Don't ask. I don't know. I don't know nothing about none of this.
It's so weird to me that Central Michigan went ahead and – because it seems like Central Michigan knew this was going – like this is an inside job for them. Why they took the effort to be like, yeah, we're going to investigate this. Like we're gonna get to the bottom of this.
I never thought we would be talking about this on a college football show.
No.
The Michigan alum, oh my Lord. I listened to Rich Eisen today. He looked like a sad kid finding out that Santa Claus wasn't real. It was nuts.
Whoa.
My bad. Young ears.
What?
No, good bit. Yeah, no.
No, but it's also like the amount of people are like, yeah, I listen to this when I'm putting my kids to bed.
Yeah.
You probably just ruined Santa for like 30 people.
Santa's real, kids. I'm sorry. It's a little late. No, but
quick, say a bunch of F words so they can't watch it.
We'll get there. No, I do think it's funny to watch. Like I saw who's the Bustin' with the Boys guy that graduated in Michigan.
Lewan.
Saw Taylor Lewan come out and say something.
He's
about
still swinging.
Yeah, he's still what?
He was still swinging, like how it's like this is Michigan didn't know this is.
Oh, you mean he's still taking hacks?
Yeah. Not like that. Hey, whoa.
You must not know a lot about Taylor Lewan.
It
was a pretty famous incident but pretty famous bit that he played a role in.
Yeah. I knew that, but.
Yeah, we already got somebody in the chat saying my son heard that. My apologies. That's unfortunate. What's your son doing up at 9:15? Not to question your parenting skills there.
Nah, dude, you got to take the L on that one.
I got to take the L on that.
You got to hold the L on that.
That
one,
was
bro.
on me. Are you just not allowed to say what? That's like a common expression. Are you not allowed to say that?
It's a common expression amongst adults because they all know. You got to be like, shot his dog or something like that. You can't be like, can't ruin it, bro.
That's on me. Yeah, he definitely found out like someone shot his dog. That's what he looked like. Mm-hmm. That's what a lot of Michigan fans are looking like and acting like right now. But damn, it's some damning evidence.
If you're Michigan, do you even want to win the title this year?
You know that's
it's
the
gonna
next
be,
discussion
because it's going to be
this.
so tainted. Like no one's going to believe it.
You do, just so that way you still have something that you can talk about and say, like throw back into other people's faces. Like that's the one thing that you could do. And like when someone says, "Oh, well, you're a cheater," you could say, "Still got that ring though." Like.
I guess. I mean,
dude, I know for a fact because that's what Astro fans have done for the last 4 years. Like, that's exactly what they've done with their cheating scandal.
That was the next question Rich Eisen had for Bruce Feldman today. He was like, what if Michigan goes on to just destroy everybody like they already have? Doesn't that just remove any type of quote-unquote asterisks on this? And Bruce was like, I wouldn't go that far.
No.
I
Not when
wouldn't go that far.
Not when it's backdated as far back as it is.
And not when you won games in the margins
Yeah.
against the football programs that you couldn't beat previously. And not when you have absolute stinkers against programs that you didn't advance scout like TCU.
And I mean, not even that. When you get kind of
I
out
got to
of
send some apologies, text messages to a guy in the chat right now. It's unfortunate.
dude,
It's just, you know what? You asked for a platform, and then you're out here just ruining holidays for people. That's on me.
oh jeez.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, like, even like the Tom Brady thing, like, where it's like he got lit, there's still people to this day that won't accept him as one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time because he's a cheater. So
Oh, no, the stain is there.
yeah.
No
So
matter
you
what
can't
happens
get
with
that
this
stain
NCAA
on.
investigation, the stain is on Michigan.
Barry Bonds. Dude can't even be put in a video game because of what he did during it. Yeah, they don't put him in video games.
They
You
don't-
play,
you're not
you
allowed
play
to play with
any
them?
look. If you go back and play any of the old MLB games, they put him in the game, but he's under a different name. Like they completely avoid putting
Oh,
Barry
you got
Bonds
got.
in,
What's
in
his
the
name?
football games.
Chat got you, bro.
Oh, he's joking? Oh, thank God.
Dude.
It's about to get Christmas canceled out here.
That'd be bad.
But now we know. Now that we're approaching Christmas, we know the standards now.
Yeah, stay away. Stay away from it. He talks about that. Nah, but this story in Michigan continues to get better and better and better. And I really don't know how it ends. I think Michigan fans, I've always felt bad for this. I feel bad for them. I feel bad for players that constantly have to defend this or at least talk about it or at least feel some type of way about it. I also think we would be remiss to not bring up the president of the university tweeting out today that he was standing on behalf of his football team, quote, like till the very end or something like that, till the end, till no more end or whatever, and then used a photo backdated several months previous with Connor Stallion still in the photo. I mean, just some of this kind of like, nah, we're better. We're Michigan. We're Michigan men stuff. I've talked about it already. It's already old. It's way old.
I mean, Michigan's like, they leaned into this victim role. They've done this before this even came out. Remember when Harbaugh got suspended for 4 games and they came out in their first game and held up 4s before?
Yeah.
Like, what
Free
do you,
Harbaugh shirts.
yeah, it's so corny. It's like, we're victims.
And like the idea that the NCAA is going to come to a conclusion of this, guys, they're still investigating him from dead period COVID sanctions that he has. Like, they're never getting to the
He's
bottom
going to be
of this.
gone before
Way
anything
gone.
comes down.
So the only way this is going to get cleaned is if the Big Ten comes in and says, "No, we're not having this. We're gonna take care of this guy right now." And I think that's what they're waiting on. They have to be waiting to tie it somehow directly to Harbaugh, and then they can fire the whole chain.
Yeah. And then he
but
can go
nah,
work for the Raiders.
That's what I'm excited about.
Raiders.
Is the Las Vegas Raiders are going to hire him, and Christian's going to be jumping up and down for it.
No, please don't.
All right, welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. We got a loaded show for you guys tonight. It is Wednesday. We're going to be playing a little game, What If Wednesday. We missed out on Guess the Lines thanks to the CFP rankings last night. By the way, a record show here for the national audience, so we appreciate you guys for showing up and showing out in that one. Teams that have to win on Saturday, we're going to talk about it. And we are 1 month. We have 1 month remaining of the regular season. We thought it would be worth recapping the season so far. I also want to give a quick shout out to our friends over at Prize Picks. Head over to Prize Picks today, prizepicks.com. Use promo code Brooks. You will get a 100% deposit match. What does that mean? Put up to $100 in. You will get $100 back immediately. That's $100 free right now with just a promo code usage of Brooks. So if you haven't checked out Prize Picks, please do so today. And again, promo code Brooks. Let's play a little game, boys. We got actually, let's guess the lines. We got to guess the lines really quickly.
Yes, please.
We missed on this one this week. I think we're going to start with K-State and Texas.
Yes, we are. Big time rank matchup. This is a big Big 12 conference championship matchup as well. So it is at Texas. So just keep that in your mind. So
It's locked.
So we'll go ahead and start with Christian for this one.
So I like Texas, even though I don't think Quinn Ewers is going to be playing in this game.
No, I don't expect Quinn Ewers until the Big 12 championship game.
Yeah, so I think that's going to kind of shave some points off. They are at home. Texas is somewhat of a harder place to play in the Big 12. I like Texas minus 3.5 in this game.
I just wrote down 4 before you gave your guess. And that doesn't leave me much leeway because I don't think it's more than that.
No.
I think it's either 4 or under. I think 3.5 is such a great number. I'm going to say 4 because I wrote it down. I'm going to be honest to my number.
Well, you're right. It is 4. It is Texas minus 4. The
Nailed
margins, man.
Being off by half a point.
Winning in the margins.
That's going to be a quick football game. I think Malik Murphy only threw it 19 times last week.
Yeah.
That's going to be a run the ball. Who can control the line of scrimmage the best? Texas has got the dudes. I think Texas wins that football game.
This is another big-time ranked matchup for the Big 12. We got Oklahoma at Oklahoma State.
Bedlam.
Oklahoma coming off of a loss.
Before we do this, can anyone explain to me what in the hell happened weeks 2 and 3 with Oklahoma State? I looked it up today. It's flabbergasting. They're a 6-2 football program. They are ranked in the top 25, I believe, right now.
They're 22.
Okay, and look at this schedule. All right,
They had
to
some
start the
bad
football
losses to start the
season,
season.
2 awful losses back to back. Give me 1 second. Here it is, 2023 Cowboy football schedule. They are 6-2. They started the season with a 27-15 win over a really, really bad Arizona State football team. Now listen to this. They got beat 33-7 at home by South Alabama. 26 points. They got beat by 26 points at home to South Alabama. The next week, they lost to a really, really bad Iowa State team. Okay, in Imes though, 34-27. It's really the South Alabama game. How? What in the hell?
Shit happens, man.
After that, they've been a really good football team. They beat K-State, they beat Kansas, West Virginia, Cincinnati, and then they got Oklahoma this weekend. I don't know what the hell to do with Oklahoma State. The Bedlam series has always confused me. Where's this game played?
It says at
Bedlam.
Oklahoma State.
Bedlam. But it's always called Bedlam, even when it's at Oklahoma?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know enough
either.
about the Oklahoma.
I don't either. I know that apparently our guy Bosworth spit in the face of the Oklahoma State head coach when they played Gundy back when they played.
The Dr. Pepper man?
Huh?
The Dr. Pepper man?
Yeah, the Dr. Pepper man spit in Mike Gundy's face when they were playing in this rivalry. That's how he let the media know that this rivalry ain't the same no more because him and Bosworth used to spit in each other's faces.
Nice.
Love a good
Very
spitting
cordial
contest.
exchange.
Real football guy. And then Brian Bosworth quote tweeted and said, "Hey, this rivalry ain't died off for me. I'll meet you at half field. I'll meet you at midfield this weekend. Bring the spit," I think is what he said.
Well, of all the games to get a very in-depth breakdown, this one was not one of the ones I was expecting it for. But again,
OU favored by 3.5.
okay.
I think Oklahoma's a better team. Give me 7.5. Honestly, I don't see how. I like you said, those bad losses.
Bedlam.
They should. Yeah, like Oklahoma usually dominates this rivalry too.
Well, for the first time ever in this show, you guys just tied because it's 5.5. You both missed it by 2. So
Oh shit.
I guess we're going to be getting our bonus game that I
We
got
might,
to throw in there.
unless someone takes a clean sweep on these next 3. What's
That's
our next
true.
one?
All right, next one. It's the game of the weekend. It's LSU at Alabama.
I go first, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think this is one of those games where Vegas doesn't really know what to do with it because it's a bad offense versus a bad defense. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like, how does this go? I think Bama's obviously going to get the edge because they're at home. I think Bama's home field advantage is worth 2.5 points, so I'll go Bama 2.5.
All right, so Bedlam's just the name. They play it home and home. But the schools are not far from each other, it looks like.
Well, they're in Oklahoma.
Yeah. You know, we learn. I know football, but I don't know the whole history of all these programs. So I don't mind sitting here learning.
Yeah.
Okay, learning on air. You can call me stupid. That's fine. I was ignorant. Now we know.
No one called you
You said
stupid.
2.5.
Yeah, no one called you stupid, man.
Oklahoma fans would find. Have you seen our TikTok? My God.
You can't read the
TikTok,
comments.
TikTok's the worst.
You can't read the
Everyone
comments.
thinks you're stupid on TikTok.
Yeah, they
Okay?
do.
Except the one guy that likes you. 2.5. This game should be straight 0. Should
Yeah.
be straight 0. Should be a push. I'm going to say 3.
Dang, right on it again. Alabama -3. Tough break there, man. Tough break.
These damn half points.
All right, you still got a few opportunities.
You got to go
Christian,
2
to
for 2
bounce
right
back.
here. Got to go 2 for 2.
Oh no, we still got 3 more.
Yeah, we don't. That's only the third one.
Oh, yeah, my bad.
Yeah, we still got more. All right, this time it's going to be an offensive game, but then again, this other opponent has kind of slipped off a little bit over the past couple weeks. Washington at USC.
I'm up.
Yep.
A lot of points. Do you have the over in this game?
I can find it
I
right
would say
now.
73. What the over under on this football game?
76.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sounds about right.
A lot of points scored in this football game. USC down bad, but at home, Vegas favorite. Got the Heisman, I would imagine. So you would think on the road, UW would be favored here, but I think it's going to be USC for some reason. I never can, whatever I think on USC's lines, I always go the other way. I'm going to say USC favored by 2.5 points.
I think Vegas, rightfully so, has probably been scared of the last 2 outputs that Washington's
Washington.
given. The problem is USC has put just as bad on the field. I think Washington's going to be favored in this game, even though they're on the road. Washington minus 1.5. I think it's that close.
It's Washington -3. You're on the board, Kirby. There you go. That a boy.
Let's go. 3.
Got to
really?
go on a heater.
It's kind of high.
It is kind of high.
All right. Next one we got just typical ACC game. Don't really know. It might as well be an ACC game at least.
Yeah.
Notre Dame at Clemson.
You're up.
Fighting Irish. Clemson, obviously 4-4 now. They've pretty much ruined everything in the season. I think people are kind of going to expect Dabo to come
a
out.
bunch of ruiners over there in Clemson.
Yeah, just ruined, dude. Just Dabo's ruined. Clemson's ruined. I like the idea of Clemson coming out in this game and kind of playing strong. I also think that Notre Dame's one of those teams now that kind of you've lost out on the playoff hopes so quickly that you're kind of just going to go through the motions for the rest of the season. I feel like I kind of want to say this is going to be a close game. I'll go to Notre Dame -5.
So my analysis on this is that this is going to be just a nut cutter of a
Disgusting
physical, disgusting football game. There's a bunch of knee biting going on out in this one. So even if whoever wins this game, they're going to win it 17-14, 21-18. It's just late game field goal, whatever. Notre Dame playing more consistently good football. I'm not going to say consistently great football. They're playing consistently good football. Give me Notre Dame favored by, you said 5, I'm going to say 4.
It's Notre Dame -3.
Just whipping his ass this week.
Tough day for you.
What's the next
All
one?
right, we got one last one. We got A&M at Ole Miss.
You're up.
No,
I'm up.
You're up.
All right. What was it again? I didn't write this one down.
A&M at Ole Miss.
A&M roster heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Super roster heavy. Vegas loves a good roster. Vegas loves some talented football players. But Ole Miss should be favored in this football game. And I think they're a full touchdown better than this football team. I'm going to say Ole Miss -6.
I like the roster heavy aspect of it. I also think Ole Miss is kind of one of those teams that they always figure out a way to ruin their chances at this point in the season. Vegas knows that. I'm going to say Ole Miss, give me Ole Miss -5.
Ole Miss -3.
That's super tight.
That's a very tight game. Roster heavy.
Roster heavy.
And,
So there's your
Jimbo always
lesson.
has these games where it's like, maybe we shouldn't fire him.
No, that's the lesson here. Vegas loves 5 stars.
Yeah,
Right?
they really do.
So that makes sense. Hey, that has been Guess the Lines. I took the dub there, right?
You did.
3-2
3-2 to 1. 3-2 to 1. How about that?
Yeah.
Little double play. All right. Welcome in. I already welcomed you in.
It's
Make
not a
sure you hit
double
that thumbs
play.
up button, like, subscribe, rate, and review. What?
That's not a double play.
No.
The one is the pitcher.
643 is.
There
My
you
bad.
go.
I'm an idiot. Hey, been a while. Been a while since I've been on the diamond. We already played Guess the Lines. We already welcomed you in. Let's talk about this Alabama and LSU football game. In my opinion, I don't think it's in my opinion. I think everyone knows this is the best football game of the week this week. It's a 6:45 kick out there local time, 7:45 here on this East Coast. I have one thought going into this football game, okay? One thought. LSU, historically great right now offensively. Alabama, really, really great on paper and on film defensively. Okay? Historically, when great offenses meet great defenses, what happens? That's what I want to ask the show tonight. And I want to ask you guys this because I have my own thoughts on history. I have my own thoughts on what history happens or what happens in the history of football recently, history of college football recently, when a great offense meets a great defense. The last time I can remember it happening, okay, is 2021 SEC Championship game. A tremendously great Georgia defense has a bad day against a tremendously great Heisman winner in Bryce Young and that Alabama offense, Jamison Williams, all the wide receiver weapons that they had that year. Okay, they go off and beat Georgia in that SEC Championship game. I think of another Georgia football game when I talk about this discussion, right? 2019 SEC Championship game. That LSU offense, obviously historically great, but I think a lot of people falsely remember that 2019 Georgia defense through 11 games, I believe it was, in that season, they are allowing 10.6 points per game on the defensive side of the football. They get blown out against LSU, a completely overmatched football game in that game. I think of the 2017 national title game when Clemson beat Alabama. That Alabama roster with just Jalen Hurts and Bo Scarborough, really defensive-led football team. Deshaun Watson throws 56 times for 420 yards, and they come out with a national title. Boys, my mind tells me that when I look at the history of great offenses versus great defenses, the great offense tends to win out. Am I right for thinking about that?
I mean, it's the old saying, a better offense beats a good defense. You know, that's typically how this goes.
But this is new in football because there was an old adage of defense wins championships. And now we have this new version, and it makes sense. Like offensive football has really taken over, and the rule book has even tilted more towards the scale of offensive football. What do we – I mean, talking about this game in particular, like, do we just favor the great offense even though we're playing Alabama on the road?
Well, I mean, heck, just think about last year, the SEC championship game against Georgia, when Georgia had a really good defense. While that game was still a blowout because Georgia put a 50-burger up on them, LSU's offense was still getting down the field, putting points on the board. Early in that football game, they seemed to be moving the ball with ease, and they were kind of getting some explosive plays. So this LSU offense has been able to play well against good defenses.
I think this conversation kind of does a disservice because it completely excludes the other two sides of the football. It's also very important that if you have a good defense, your offense plays up to par. Georgia got smoked in the 2019 SEC championship. Yeah, they did. Joe Burrow threw for all over them. They didn't score a touchdown till late in the fourth quarter. Yeah. You're not going to win many games doing that anyways. So, yeah, I think it is kind of important to
Shouts out James Coley.
Yeah, I think it is kind of important to say that, you know, the better offense does win, but you also have to have your defense step up and play. If Alabama's offense doesn't do anything and lays an egg today on Saturday, yeah, LSU's going to win. Same for LSU's defense, where if they can't stop Jalen Milroe from throwing 50, I mean, they have a very holy defense when it comes to explosive passes.
You know what I just wrote down? All three of those examples I brought to you in recent memory, those were all neutral fields. Okay, something happens, and you guys know it. When you're playing at home as a defense. Okay, not only are the energy levels higher, but your pass rush ability is far, far, far increased because of the snap count inabilities.
I'll tell you exactly what this reminds me of. It reminds me of Tennessee and Georgia last year, where Tennessee really, really bad on defense. I mean, really bad, but great on offense. I mean, putting up fabulous numbers, one of the top in the country. But then they come up into this game where they, like you're just saying, they have to go onto the road against another really talented SEC team that has a really good defense and a pretty good offense. Not great, but a really good offense. And they finally meet their maker, and the defense kind of overpowers the offense, and that crowd gets into it. And that offense the offense that day ends up playing one of their better games.
It's a solid point where, you know, the defense did outmatch them. Now, some would say weather impacted that football game, but that didn't happen until midway through the third quarter, and they were already dubbing that ass up. Yeah. So you are 100% right in using that example.
I think, like you're saying, the sexy matchup and the one that everyone wants to focus is, what is LSU's offense going to do against Bama's defense? I think the real question is, what is Bama's offense going to do against LSU's defense? Because that's where you're going to win the game.
Yeah, that's why I was leading to our next point. That was the next point I had on my notes here, was when it comes to this football game, you hit on it. What does the other unit do well, or what does it? Alabama is far more a B+ on offense than LSU is a B or close to a B+ on defense, okay? And particularly when it comes to the matchup, in particular to Alabama's offense versus LSU's defense. Alabama's offense this year has been run, 60-yard bomb. Run, hitch, run, hitch, go, 60-yard bomb. That's been the equivalent of their offense. They've been a really, really explosive passing attack when they've thrown it, but they don't throw it a ton, okay? It's not a really diverse passing attack. So it led me to believe before the show, I said, hey, Jay Will, I got this thought process on this football game. Alabama, really good throwing the ball deep. How good is LSU at defending the explosive pass? Just the explosive pass. And, boy, did the evidence come back pretty damning for LSU this weekend, didn't it?
Yeah, they were what? Did you write it down?
Yeah, they're 97th in 20+ yard pass attempts allowed this season. They've allowed 15 30-yarders this season. That ranks 98th in the country. So 15 times this year they've given up a reception of over 30 yards. A bunch of those came against Missouri. And again, not outside of FSU and Missouri. Has LSU really played an explosive passing attack? Ole Miss got them a couple of times.
Ole Miss, I think, was probably their biggest.
Yeah. So yeah, they give it up in the passing attack game. And, you know, this Alabama offense can get behind you because they require you to pay so much attention to the run game in the box. So, no, I thought you had a great point on this football game with regards to what does the other unit do well or not necessarily do well. I think the offense versus defense matchup, LSU's offense versus Alabama's defense, is going to be entertaining to watch because Terry and Arnold and Kool-Aid McKinstry can cover. All right, this football team can cover and cover well.
And really, the ultimate downfall of LSU might end up being that they're not going to be able to stop the run either. They're 85th in rushing defense this year, allowing an average of 156 rushing yards. So if Jalen Milroe and that running back core can kind of have their way on the first 2 downs and they get to run and handle their offense like they want to, it's going to be really tough for them to find stops throughout this football game.
It's been 2 years in a row now where LSU can't stop the run.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Very, very weird. Hey, let's play What If Wednesday. I also want to ask you guys to go ahead and hit that thumbs up button over there on the chat. Let's play What If Wednesday. I got one for you. What if Shane Beamer loses this weekend?
Oh, he's done.
I'm just kidding. All jokes aside, it's a weekly What If. Weekly What If Shane Beamer loses. When you're 2-6, that's what you get. But in all seriousness, I know it's Jack State. They have to win these next 2 games. They have Jack State and Vanderbilt the next 2 weeks. If they don't win these 2 games, I mean, what do you have left to hold on to in terms of momentum up there in South Carolina?
I mean, if you beat Clemson again and kind of, I think
save your ass.
Yeah, that's kind of.
I don't even know if that's enough.
Dude, I don't want to do it, but the internet's already done it. I mean, he did catch a weird, sneaky run towards the end of the season against familiar opponents with Michigan. Just going to say. Opponents that, you know, Michigan advanced scouted. And there was some sneaky. Did you see some of that footage that came out of them, their armbands that they had?
Yeah, but I mean, if you go back and watch that game, Tennessee was missing tackles. You don't act like
Tennessee's defense was being Tennessee's defense.
Yeah, you can scout really well, and you still, I don't think, can put up 68 points against a team that's just that much more talented than you. So I don't think there's that much.
I was more talking about the defensive signals. But they had wristbands that basically, they were color-coded. It was like green, red, orange, blue, and it basically told the defense either. Now, if you're a South Carolina coach, listen to this, you're probably like, yeah, dumbass, we were just trying to get the calls in quicker. They're a no-huddle, fast-paced offense. 100%. The internet thought it was fishy. I thought it was worth bringing up. I don't necessarily believe it to be true. I believe they showed up and played out and balled out.
You don't put up 68 points or whatever it was on a team just because you scouted them a little bit.
No.
I would even add, though, that against the Jacksonville State, that you probably have, you need to win convincingly. Like, this doesn't need to be one of those games where you kind of squeak it out.
No 28-7s against
Can't
ECU.
be having that. You got to put some type of faith and something good on the TV screens this weekend for South Carolina fans to start getting behind you.
Absolutely, I'm with you there. What do you got? You got one? What if for me?
Okay. What if Oklahoma State wins this weekend? And I'm not just doing that of a pure of, Oklahoma loses. What does this do to them? Blah blah blah. But more so because if Oklahoma State wins this weekend, their next 3 games are against UCF, Houston, and BYU. They might punch their ticket into a Big 12 championship game.
With a loss to South Al, they're going to finish second. They have a potential to finish second in the Big 12.
And I'll go ahead and get into this next one because they kind of go in together. So what if Texas loses this weekend and we don't have neither of Oklahoma or Texas in the Big 12 championship game? Because then Kansas State would then be in first place along with Oklahoma State if they beat Oklahoma.
No Big 12 in the playoff then.
Yeah.
And then Sark gets
Could you imagine, though, if neither Texas or Oklahoma?
I think that K-State-Texas game can be sneaky close.
Yeah.
Like, not even sneaky close.
I mean, how quickly does Sark get put back on the hot seat if that happens?
If you squander this year.
Nah. Come on, man.
They'll let him go into.
His quarterback got hurt, man.
They'll go into.
His quarterback got hurt. Whatever happens the next 4 weeks does not matter. His quarterback got hurt.
That and, like, they'll let him go into the SEC and figure it out because that's what he did in the SEC.
I think Texas fans are extremely happy right now.
I would be.
I thought the quote he gave to the college football playoff was a little bit too much. What do we remember that? Do we remember how to paraphrase that quote?
He basically was like, I don't see any other team going
he's
to
like,
Alabama.
He's like, I ain't see no other team going to Tuscaloosa and win.
Yeah.
And I ain't see everybody talk about the SEC, buddy. You gonna be talking about the SEC really quickly. I think that's gonna be the funny part when all these Oklahoma and Texas fans are like, you know, shitting on the SEC or talking about how it's not good enough or how they're good enough to play. And then the moment they're going to start turning into one of these, SEC, it means more fan base. You watch. You watch.
It's the toughest conference to play in.
Go
Yeah.
search your tweets because you better delete them.
You go play in the SEC. We play an SEC slate. You're going to hear that from some Texas and some OU fans when for years they've been talking bad about this conference, even though they bought themselves out of their other conference. I wonder how much they paid for that, by the way. I'm sure it's reportable. I'm sure we know how much they had to pay to get out of their TV rights deal, but I bet it was north of $150 million.
For sure.
I bet combined between the two of them. Do you have one for me?
Yeah, I got one. So I'm debating on which one I go with first, but I'll just go. I'll leave.
If it's Clemson related, leave it out.
All right. What if Missouri beats Georgia and LSU beats Bama? Is there a chance that we don't see any team in the SEC championship?
You mean any team from the SEC in the college football playoff?
Yeah, any team in the playoff, any SEC team in the playoff.
Because Missouri would be a one-loss team. They'd go.
Missouri would be a one-loss team. They go, okay, play
And you
devil.
talking about LSU beat them in the SEC
Yeah,
championship
play
game?
devil's advocate. LSU drops another game, beats Missouri in the SEC.
Well, they wouldn't even have to. LSU's already got 2 losses.
LSU would then be in the same position they were last year of like, despite them having 2 losses, if they finish the season like that, there's a strong argument for them to still be in the playoff. at
People
that point.
forget LSU had a 3rd loss at the end of the regular season.
I got to be honest with you. When all these what-ifs nowadays, and here's what I've learned as I've become a national guy, we talk national topics now, all these like, well, what if this happens? And like, who would could we get a 2-loss? All these potentials. My brain's just not smart enough to go to all these potential happenings and remember which crossover I didn't remember.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, oh, well, what happens if could we possibly get a 2-loss champion in? Here's how it happens. Dude, it would take me an hour to sit there and chart
You
it
would
out.
look
And I'd
like
still probably
the
forget
guy at the
something.
hangover at the blackjack table.
Yeah. Say what now?
Yeah,
See what I mean?
just like that.
See? This is what I'm talking about. This is just my brain can't do it. I can't do all these hypotheticals. Now, I can do a hypothetical like this. If Clemson loses this week, okay, they're under 500 this late in the season for the first time ever under Dabo Swinney.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe since his first year. He was a
Other
7-6
than, like,
coach his first year.
Week 1 loss.
In this decade, easily.
I'm talking about this late in the season.
Yeah.
He is. I don't think he's ever been 4 or 5. And Dabo, to me, guys, he's a very, very interesting case study. I was looking at it today. I think Dabo Swinney and what's happening right now to Clemson is one of one. Tell me, in the history of college football, has there ever been a head football coach to figure it out at the rate that Dabo Swinney figured it out, and then just forget like how to be or lose the ability to maintain? We have never seen this. Every single multi-time national title-winning head coach, it normally takes them forever to build it up, to figure it out, to get the machine to that point, and then they just ride the machine out until they retire. Like, that's it. All of them, all the great coaches in the history of college football, particularly recently, right? Nick Saban, could you imagine a 5-5 season pulling up? No. Dude, Clemson's got Georgia Tech, North Carolina, and South Carolina after playing Notre Dame this weekend.
They might not make a bowl.
They might not make a bowl. Guys, this is one of one. We've never had this happen. So Tyler from Spartanburg might have been improper in talking about my man's religion and asking about how much he's making and all this 11.5 minutes. I'm just telling you, Tyler from Spartanburg might have been onto something in the sense that we ain't never seen this. We ain't never seen a football coach get to 2 national titles, win them, figure out how to be the supremacy of his conference, and then all of a sudden lose by 3 scores or be down 3 scores in the second quarter to NC State. What? This ain't happening. This ain't never happened. And I don't know, guys. We have to dig it back, way back to multi-time champions. Did Bear Bryant have this? Did Bear Bryant win multi-titles and then at the end of his regime start turning up 4-4 seasons midway through the year?
I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not well versed in Bear Bryant history.
But I just don't hear of great coaches who have won multi-titles doing anything other than walking off into the sunset whenever they damn well please. Well, they don't have these types of runs. And while you're freelancing, I'm gonna go look it up, do something I should have done before the show, because I only remember the recent great ones. And by the way, the recent great ones I just talked about pretty much cover us to 2000.
Yeah.
The last 25 years of college football.
I can't think of one at the college level, but I can think of one at the NFL level.
Belichick.
Yeah, Belichick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's the only one I can think about right now. And a lot of people are going to get confused about this question and start thinking about people that kind of have got great quarterbacks, went to multiple playoffs or national titles, but then after that kind of fell off. Like Jimbo Fisher is going to get thrown out there because he had Jameis Winston and he won a national title, and then he was able to make it to the college football playoff with him. I don't think that's in this conversation, right?
Well,
like, this is not what we're talking about, in my opinion.
I'll tell you why it happened.
Bear Bryant's final year, he was 8-4. Bear
It's still
Bryant,
not bad.
Bear Bryant never. 1969, and 70, he was 6-5. So midway through his regime, Bear Bryant turned up random 6-5 seasons.
1970. That was when he made some big roster changes. Let the brothers start.
Colorful
playing. Let the
roster
brothers
changes.
start playing.
Yeah. No, that is 100% right. You're 100% right.
Yeah, he's like, oh shit, we gotta do something.
Dead ass. He lost to USC at home.
Yeah.
He lost to USC at home. It's a little college football history for you. Bear Bryant lost to USC at home. Maybe with OJ? That checks out time-wise, right?
Maybe.
Anyways, the Trojans had some black folks on the team, and Bear Bryant was like, we should be a little bit more lenient on this stupid ass rule we got going on in our school right now.
But that goes back to my point. The great coaches adapt. Dabo Swinney built up his program and said, all right, this is all we need. I'm not changing anything, but I'm not taking in transfer portals. I don't care if there's NIL. I'm not doing it.
It was a joke, but it's kind of serious. Bear Bryant's color barrier is, or Bear Bryant to the color barrier is what Dabo Swinney is to the transfer portal?
Yeah.
Is that what we're talking about right now?
So, I mean, are we saying hypothetically if Dabo Swinney was a coach in the 60s?
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
Whoa!
Don't do that. Don't do that.
This is one I just pulled up, and it would have been interesting if it would have stayed in college for a little bit longer, but Chip Kelly.
Never won a title, though. Never won multiple titles.
I think
I'm talking
it's
about, dude, this is what the point is.
Yeah.
This dude is in so rarefied air with the history of college coaches. Like,
Highest
he is
highs.
up there with the GOATs, all right? And he can't figure out how to beat NC State. And he's going to be 4-5 this week because I think Notre Dame's going to beat him.
I wonder what Mr. Minnesota head coach in the 1930s was doing after winning 3 straight national titles.
I might Google it.
Yeah.
I'm interested.
But I also think it all ties back to the fact that you have to adapt. The sport has passed Dabo Swinney by in college football, and it happened quickly. I mean, 5-6 years ago, he was competing for national titles.
He's got 5, by the way. His name's Bernie Bierman. Bernie Bierman was Minnesota's head coach from 1932 to 1941.
And won 5 in that time?
Oh, my man went and fought in World War II. And again in 1945 to 1950.
This guy's the GOAT.
Man.
Holy hell.
Being in the 1930s and 40s with a name like Bernie Bierman, you were born to be a head football
No
coach.
way he lost 4-5.
Is it Beerman?
Bierman. Bierman.
Not related to him.
Love it.
Woody Hayes, I don't know how that one ended, but I'm sure it ended relatively well. Okay? And Frank Leahy. Apparently Leahy's got 4 titles. Notre Dame head coach. So, yeah, it doesn't take you long before you get down to Dabo Swinney on this list.
No.
And, again, he is in rarefied air, the negative rarefied air. So that's weird. If they lose this weekend, I mean, whatever. He's still got me.
Yeah, I mean, this season's in the shitter already.
Yeah,
There's nothing you can
season's
do.
in the shitter already.
There's nothing you can do to make it that much worse. I think
full, Clark.
Yeah, pretty much. Dude.
All right. Do you have any more what ifs?
All right. I'll do this one since we're on the topic of coaches and whatnot, and we basically just brought them up. So what if Texas A&M beats Ole Miss? Does that automatically clear Jimbo for another year?
I think Jimbo's okay. I think Jimbo, with all this stuff that's going on with Harbaugh.
You sound like Boo Kerrigan, dude.
No, I just took a swig, man. I'm all right.
I think Jimbo's okay.
I think Jimbo's okay. He's 5-2 with a backup
I hate to keep bringing it up.
Yeah.
6-2 with a backup quarterback.
I think the quarterback situation really saved Jimbo this season, and the fact that they're not awful this year. They've won more games than they already won last year, so they're not. They've improved, and you lost your quarterback. So no, I don't think Dabo's in that much trouble.
And he's been real quiet.
Yeah,
he has been quiet.
He's been sitting on his hands.
Haven't been seeing the media
in the headlines,
clips.
man. Have not been seeing him running his mouth off a little bit. Oh, chat hit us with a good one. Apparently Bobby Bowden had an iffy run towards the
people
end.
They kind of ran Bobby Bowden out towards the end.
And took in Jimbo. That was the kind of transition period. They kind of ran him out. Yeah,
did they go from Bowden to Jimbo?
Yeah.
Yes.
That was the whole reason why a lot of people didn't give Jimbo a lot of credit, because he kind of took over and finished the job.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, so.
I got a what if.
What's up?
All right, what if LSU beats Bama, but Jaden Daniels has only one touchdown and throws 3 interceptions, just doesn't have a good game, but LSU still manages to win? Does he move anywhere in the Heisman rankings after that?
I think if they beat, I think all that the Heisman voters are waiting on Jaden Daniels is for them to beat Bama and make sure that they manage to finish the season before the Heisman voting, right, at the end of the SEC championship game with only 3 losses. I think that's the threshold now. If you lose 4 games, you can't win a Heisman. I think we learned that last year with Caleb. Wasn't he 9-3 going into the Heisman ceremony?
Yeah, because they lost in the
How many-
Pac-12 championship.
How many losses did Baylor have when RG3 won?
3.
Was it 3?
I'll look it up, but go ahead.
I was reading up on that team today, actually. I don't know if it was 3. I think it may have been 2. I mean, I don't know. 3. That's a really bad. That's a really. It would really just depend on how everybody else played that's in the Heisman race.
Mhm.
Like, if you go in there and you do exactly what you said, a touchdown and 3 interceptions, but you still win the game. But then Carson Beck, on the other hand, throws for 400 yards and 3 touchdowns and beats Missouri. And, all these other quarterbacks have great days. Like, if Michael Penix has a great bounce back game against USC, then he would certainly fall and others would rise.
Baylor was 9-3 the year, 9-3 at the time that he won the Heisman.
And then they beat Oklahoma in the.
Correct. They beat Oklahoma 45-38.
Yeah.
And then
Great game. Underrated.
Then they
game.
scored 66 points the next week against Texas Tech, and then they finished the season against Washington in a bowl game. Oh my God! Bring this back? 67-56. I'm gonna go smoke that football game after this.
No
What?
overtime.
None.
That's that
It's a
game.
standard football game.
Bowl
67-45.
That was that game where
56.
he threw the dig across the middle. It got tipped and it went to the guy running the post.
Bro, you're recalling a Washington Baylor game from 12 years ago. I definitely don't remember what you're talking about. But that sounds epic.
As soon as you watch the play, you'll be like, holy shit.
Baylor scored 21 in the first. Washington scored 28 in the second. Baylor scored 29 in the third. And then held Washington to 7 in the fourth.
That's beautiful.
Real stand.
So
Real stand right there from
was
the
a great-
Baylor
This was
Bears.
definitely when Jake Browning was quarterback for Washington, right?
No, Jake Brown was like 2016 because he was on the playoff team.
Hold on.
Yeah, but that would have.
I'm off the stats. Go ahead.
You're right. Interesting.
Who do we think it is?
I
It's
said
not
Jake
I don't know who
Browning,
it is.
but
It's
he'd
not
have to
Jake
play like
Browning,
as a
though.
freshman.
There's no way in hell you guessed this name. He went 23 for 37 in the game for 438.
Yeah, it's a no.
Keith Price. Keith
Hell yeah.
Price. No shot I would have ever guessed Keith Price was a real name. Jermaine Kearse had 198 receiving yards on 5 catches.
Shout out to the Seahawks.
Holy shit. I want some of these football games again. Just
Bowl mania.
remove
Man.
defense. That's when bowl games mattered.
Yeah, that's when.
That was the good old days.
Yeah, you think they suck now. Wait till we go to 12. Hey, teams they got to win this weekend. Who are they?
Alabama.
I got one right off the bat.
Go ahead.
I know he's a 14.5-point dog at home. I understand this. But listen to me, Clark Lee. Okay, listen to me, Doors. If you're gonna get a conference win, all right, it ain't next week at South Carolina. All right, that man's gonna be coaching for his job. It ain't the week after that against Tennessee. All right, at Tennessee, by the way. All right, if you're going to get a conference win, it's this week against Auburn. And I know Auburn is quote unquote hot. All right, Auburn's so hot, they scored a season high against a Power 5 opponent, 27 points last weekend against Mississippi State. That offense is smoldering. All right, so you're going to have to find out a way to control Peyton Thorne. All right, but I think you can do it. I think you can. Now, not much of a home field advantage. I would imagine, well, you know what? There's going to be nobody at that stadium because Georgia at least travels. Alabama will travel. Okay, LSU will travel. These teams that have national, 10-win expectations, Power 5 bowl game type expectations or New Year's 6 bowl games expectations, they'll travel. I don't expect the Auburn Tiger fans to drive up to Nashville this weekend. Just to party?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, though. A lot of fraternities, a lot of sororities schedule, like, date nights and homecomings and stuff like that, like formals in Nashville for that time.
So you're betting on the frat parties?
Yeah.
If there's a school to bet on for it,
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
true.
and who has the money to do it,
we know. Yeah, we saw that. I mean, big money up in Auburn. So it's not going to be a big crowd, but I think there are going to be a substantial amount of Auburn fans.
Come on, Clark. I know it's Vanderbilt, but the standard at Vanderbilt is at least one conference win. All right, and if you can't pull it out this weekend, I'm not saying you got to win, but you got to win. If you ain't winning this weekend, you ain't winning.
I feel like there's a lot of obvious, like, you got to win this week. Teams.
Yeah, I removed all the one-win teams. You got to win out the rest of the year. Okay, Some at Florida State, you got to win out the rest of the year. We've already talked about those, but I got another one sitting there on the board that looks kind of obvious.
Go ahead.
Our guy Dave Aranda. Our guy Dave Aranda's got to win this weekend. He's, I think, 3-4. They got Houston. Or he might be 2-4. Got Houston this weekend.
Sounds right.
Huh?
2-4. They've only played 6 games.
2-5. Look up Baylor's schedule right now, or Baylor's record right now while I'm talking about this. But here's why they got to win this weekend. They got Houston, who's a fellow bottom dweller in the Big 12. All right, and then they play at Kansas State the next weekend, at TCU, and they round it out with West Virginia this year.
They're 3-5.
Yeah, 3-5. So a drop this week is a 3-6 against another 3-5 football team in Houston, and I believe they have that football game at home too. So you lose at home against a 3-5 football team, you are going to be in even hotter water, despite the fact that the dude won 12 games 2 years ago. You know, Baylor was 12-2 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And now it's just like, what in the hell happened?
Transfer portal.
I got one for you.
What's up?
Marquis
You just find this one?
Yeah. Marquis Stoops got to win.
Oh.
Marquis Stoops got to win this weekend because they play Mississippi State. Then after that, you got to go to Alabama. You got to play South Carolina, and you got to play Louisville. They only have I think they have 4 wins right now, 5 wins.
Yeah, this is a football team in Mississippi State that Mark Stoops, the type of football team, the at, near, below 500 SEC football team. Mark Stoops has made a $6.5 million salary off of this type of football game. He's got to win this football game, or else what are you doing? What are we doing with you anymore? Because you're supposed to be, we beat the bottom dweller. Like, you're supposed to keep us out of the bottom cell of the SEC.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I mean, his whole identity is kind of built on, like, we every few years, hey, we're 7-1 going into Georgia or somewhere else, like Tennessee. We might have a chance to win the East this year. But if you're not even going to win 6 games this season, people might start turning around going, hey, what are we doing here? So I have, since they're not technically a one-loss team, I have LSU. It's obvious, but if you win this game, your SEC championship hopes are alive. Potentially your playoff hopes are alive, but that's a must-win. And then obviously, guys, teams like Ole Miss, Missouri, Washington, those are all big games that you have to win.
You know what's good news for LSU fans this year? Not that I don't think they're searching for any type of confirmation on Brian Kelly. I think they know. But last year there were a couple games on that slate where you're like, what the hell happened to you that day? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they have inexplicably bad defenses, but there's no Tennessee game on that slate this year.
Not yet. It's consistent.
Their defense cost them a game against Ole Miss, and they got handled in the third quarter in the second half against Florida State. That's it. Outside of that, they've played really, really good or winnable football, winning SEC football. So, yeah, I'm with you there. Hey, can I say something right quick? Just real quick.
We'll
be real quick on this. Saw a lot of takes on social media yesterday with the first round of college football rankings coming out. And here's my thing, okay? From now on, I don't want to hear that this stuff doesn't matter. All right, I saw this take over and over again. Quote, it don't matter until the last rankings anyways. You know this is just a TV product. Who gives a shit? Guys, it's not so far from the truth. It isn't the truth. Listen to me. There are 13 people going into a room and coming out with one collective thought that we get observations from every single week leading up to their final decision. All right? So and it's a new group every year. Every year. It's a new 13. It's a whole bunch of random people that we don't really know unless you go Google searching for it and actually find their names. Like Condoleezza Rice being in that mix several years ago.
Still might be the funnest fact I've heard.
A very fun fact. Condoleezza Rice. Just a fun name to say. All right? Was a member of this committee. There's a lot of ADs, a lot of whatever. Bottom line, how these people think, how they view wins and losses, which team they favor this time of the year and a month later from now definitely matters. It definitely does. So please stop doing this shit don't matter until December 17th. Well, yeah, okay. Well, just shut up. Quit tweeting until December 17th, and we'll stop asking you for your analysis. I don't like this. I hate when people do this stuff doesn't matter. If it doesn't matter, don't talk about it because it definitely matters.
I'll tell you exactly why yesterday's ranking specifically mattered, because it went ahead and told you exactly what they're valuing right now. And it perfect example. Ohio State being number 1 should make Georgia fans feel really, really good. Not because it gave you a bunch of bulletin board material or any of that nonsense of extra motivation, but the committee just told you if you have meaningful wins and you handle business against ranked opponents, we see that at a very high value right now.
Tremendous point in the chat. Ask FSU if it matters. FSU has one critical win against LSU right now, and the rest of their slate, based off being ranked number 3 right now, they have to win. That was one of our main takeaways last night. FSU being ranked 3 behind Ohio State and Georgia tells us, hey, and the rest of the rankings having no ACC teams in them outside of Louisville tells us, hey, you got to win out, dude. You have to win out. We know that based off last night's rankings, okay? So they do matter. Every single week they matter. How we observe these things and the notes we can take and the little tea leaves we can read from these definitely will help us solve the puzzle at the end of the year.
I think the whole "it doesn't matter" sentiment comes in form of the overreaction of people freaking out about it. Like, there are people legitimately pissed off that Michigan's number 3. There's people upset that FSU's 4. There's people who are, like, stomping their feet on the ground. So we deserve to be higher. I can't believe the committee did this to us. And then the whole sentiment is, oh, it doesn't matter. It's not that it doesn't matter. It's subject to change. You have plenty of time to change what's going on. But it does matter in that it's showing what the committee thinks of you as a team right now.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So it's not the end-all, be-all. It's not something you need to be upset about right now. It is something you need to analyze and say, okay, what does this mean right now? Because like you said, the committee changes every year. There isn't a set parameters that each committee comes into and says, this is what we're looking for.
Shouts out Condoleezza Rice. I just had to get that off my chest. I hate seeing that shit.
Plus, I mean, what do all college football fans say about why this sport is great? It's because every week matters. So that means every weekly rankings, that matters too, because every week means that much more.
Hey, and if it didn't matter, they wouldn't do the TV show for it. If they didn't know if they knew we didn't care, they wouldn't make it a TV show for product. So it definitely matters. People watch it. We have 1 month. I can't believe we're already here.
Dude, that sucks.
I know it sucks. And here's why it sucks. We have 1 month left of the college football season, and I got 3 football games that I remember right now that I will hold for the 2023 year. I got CSU versus CU. I got OU versus Texas, and I got Bama versus UT. Do we have any other quote-unquote great games from this season right now?
That LSU Ole Miss game was one of the
LSU Ole
best
Miss.
games I
Okay,
watched.
so that's 4.
Also
LSU
gave us
Ole
one of
Miss.
the best moments of the season, most viral moments.
Yeah. We did it! Whoa! Whoa! I wish we still had that on the
You
PC.
said Texas, Oklahoma?
I did.
Okay.
Those 4 games?
Colorado State was amazing. Stanford, Colorado's been a part of some great games this year. Some real fun games to watch.
Well, Stanford and Colorado was fun because we were watching it, and we got to laugh at Dion and all that good stuff, and it was a hooray, or like a historic comeback.
Yeah, that's a.
So
what
yeah,
more
those
can-
are good games.
What more can you ask for?
Clemson losing to Duke on Labor Day. That's an unforgettable moment for everybody because everybody was watching that football
Yeah.
game because it was
Cheered
the
for
only
Duke,
game. And
of all things,
everybody was watching the downfall of Clemson right before their eyes.
Washington, Oregon was a great football game.
Yep.
I'm going to throw Notre Dame and Ohio State out of this mix. And for that reason, I'm also going to throw Notre Dame and Duke out of this mix because, I mean, if you just have one cool 90-second drive, that's dope. But I need 60 minutes.
That game was kind of a snoozer.
Yeah.
USC Utah was a great game.
Yeah, if you're only tuning into that game for the last 90 seconds because you got a notification that they're driving down
You
the
probably
football-
thought Sam Hartman should win the Heisman.
Yeah, exactly.
The 4th and 18 play was bonkers. And then he shaved his face.
Don't remind me.
No, he shaved it after USC, but, I mean,
Still a
there's
Giga
women
Chad.
everywhere upset about that.
Still a Giga Chad.
Yeah, no, he's still a handsome dude. Still a handsome lad. Is
For
that what
sure.
you said?
Giga Chad. You don't know what a Giga Chad is?
Is that like a mega Chad?
Pretty much, yeah.
Like a super handsome dude?
In a way, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not hip to the new slang.
You don't even know what hey dudes are.
Apparently not. I would never wear them hey dudes. But no, that's my original takeaway right now is that we are 9 weeks through the football season, entering week 10. And I don't know if we've had enough of the historic, like, oh my God, that was a great game. But these next 4 weeks, there are some bangers.
This weekend might produce you some.
I was gonna say there haven't been as many like this is crazy. This is why we watch college football games. But there've been viral moments. This whole Michigan thing is unprecedented. I feel like every week there's a new storming the field video of a fan interacting with a player.
Elite.
That's amazing. Colorado, the Shadur. Like that was a 2-week fad. Remember that?
That's why you were tweeting about the Shadur.
Yeah, I was
today.
thinking about it with Jay Wood. I was like, no one's doing the Shadur anymore. That lasted like a week and a half.
The Shadur. Look at it. The Shadur.
Yeah, exactly. Stuff like that where it's just like little things that go viral this season. I feel like this has been the most viral college football season we've had.
Anything else? that'll call it a show. Hey, appreciate you guys for being here, man. Hit that thumbs up button on your way out. Make sure you're telling your friends. We love you.